My next guest tonight on Punky's MixTape is joining me from Portland, Maine. I'd like everybody to welcome to the show Brooke Binion. Brooke is the guitarist for The Worst. How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Doing really good tonight. Honestly, can't complain. How's things on your end?
I'm good. I mean, I'm in the Motel 6 with my dog because I'm in between. I bought a house, and so that's why it looks like this. So good. You know, as good as you can be in the Motel 6 in Portland, Maine.
Okay, at least it's for like good reasons of being in a Motel 6 in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of bad reasons why I've stayed at a Motel 6 in Portland, Maine.
Me too. This is different. This is a little better.
Going down is like a walk down memory lane, or is it like a walk shame coming back through?
It can be. It's a little bit of both. I haven't been back since the darker years, so you know.
Well, it's bittersweet then. You know, it's good songwriting material.
Oh, good call. Maybe I should get on that.
That could make a good track. I tend to do that with artists on the show. I'm like, hey, you can make a song about that. But for my mixtapers who might not remember hearing The Worst from previous episodes, tell us a little bit about the band.
We're a three-piece sort of alternative punk. I mean, punk's sort of a broad statement, but you know, just a rock band from Portland, Maine. We tour nationally when there's not a pandemic, and you know, it's been about, I don't even know, 4 years. We've been doing it for about 4 years. I could be totally wrong, but 3 to 5. I don't know. And I don't know what else anybody would ever want to know about that.
About being a kick-ass three-piece punk alt band from Portland, Maine that embodies the spirit of grunge. I'll tip my glass to that.
There you go. Write it down.
That just came right off. I also might have read y'all's website a couple of minutes ago too, so it gave me some good adjectives, which I always appreciate.
Oh wow! Well, you did more homework than me.
That's okay. I have a horrible problem on the show of knowing like 3 adjectives of like stoked, phenomenal, and awesome. I need to add more to my vocab on this end. It's totally the New Englander in me.
Where are you located?
Me? I'm right outside of Augusta.
Oh, right on.
Yep. And I'm originally from Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an Austin Brighton boy originally.
Oh, I like it there.
I did too, and then it got really expensive to live there.
Yeah, like everywhere that's worth living these days.
So that's why me and my better half live in an awesome little A-frame cabin in the woods on a dirt road on a dead end.
Hell yeah, I love A-frames. The way it like makes the walls inside shaped pretty cool.
It's cool until you try to like move any furniture that is a 90 degree, which is every type of furniture.
You can get a couch that has a back like this.
Exactly. So I like sleep with my head against the wall, and like this is why I'm like directly in the middle, like doing like the line shot down the house right here.
All right.
So I mean, I could sit here and talk about northern architecture all night, but that's not why we're here. So you're the guitarist in the band, which is awesome because you're a riffer. I just love the driving lines on the band. It's awesome. It's phenomenal, and I'm stoked. See my free adjectives. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's driving. It's upbeat. And really, until I started doing the show, you guys had completely passed me by. I'll be completely honest. I had not heard of you till I started doing the show, and I was just really blown away. So I just gonna give some accolades really quick. I'm just loving all like the local bands that I'm seeing around me, nevertheless the ones from around the world.
Yeah. Me too.
So you've been doing this for about 4 years now. What are some of your favorite moments thus far?
I feel like that's pretty easy. Those stand out. We did 2 West Coast tours, sort of like LA to Seattle, or one of them was LA all the way up to Seattle, and one of them started in Seattle. and went back down to LA. And the first one, I feel like we only had like 7 songs when we did that. But the first one, we got to play the Whiskey in Hollywood, which was cool. Maybe it's just like a, you know, landmark.
It's an absolute landmark spot. That's definitely like a merit badge of venues to wear.
I thought so. And then obviously with the kind of music we play, we've had nothing but a killer time in Seattle. And so this most recent Seattle show, which I guess was 2018, we do it about every 2 years. So that was awesome. It was packed at the Dive, which is in Fremont, which is a neighborhood in Seattle. Those are always fun. Touring is fun. I've been touring not with this band, but for like my whole adult life. And it's like, I never get sick of it. And then also we've just had some good hometown shows, and those are my favorite, you know, the shows are why I do this. Songwriting isn't fun for me. I mean, I'm glad I do it, but it's always like the big high energy shows that really make it all worth it.
Well, there's an energy, and it's addicting, you know, when you're up on stage from guitarist to guitarist and you're just playing, and there's just something about it. There's not even really, it's a word. There's not even a good word for it. It's more of a feeling, and it's a complete adrenaline rush. Just be able to sit there and watch the magic happen. I miss it so much, and like I said, it's addicting being up on that stage, and being without it for so long. It's honestly heartbreaking these days.
Yeah, this is no fun for sure. Yeah, it is. I feel like I used to be in an EDM band. I guess it was not a band, but with Will, the bass player of The Worst. And when I was like, I want to do something different, I'm gonna write like punk songs. I feel like that would be easier. It wasn't really that much easier, but I was like, I just want to scream. I just want to be able to scream. So that's why I started the band, for that, just to be able to go in front of people and scream.
See, that's awesome. We kind of had like kind of a reversal, where for years I was in like metal and punk and hardcore bands, and then I'd gone to film school and got into like music production and started producing, you know, kind of scores for my friends' projects and videos, and that's what got me into electronic music. So as of the more recent, that's kind of like where I've gone to, as I've not been in a project for a little while, but been doing the electronic thing. So kind of like a reversal here.
Too, building the tracks. I mean, we use some of that too, especially on the next record. I mean, it wouldn't be blatantly obvious, but we definitely keep those skills in our back pocket. It's fun.
Well, I think if you can add a multi-genre element to what you're doing, it's just going to make it new and refreshing. And, you know, some things might not work, but fuck it. You tried it, you took the risk, and it was worth it. You know, and that's half the fun, is just taking the risk.
I agree, totally.
So you kind of dropped a little truth bomb on me right there. What's all this about a new album?
We are 10 tracks into, or maybe 9 tracks into a 10-track album that will probably be out late this fall. And it's our second album. And we recorded it in the same place where we always record, which is Chill House in Boston. It's in Charlestown, actually, Massachusetts. And we sort of had a drummer switch. So we have our old drummer is on 4 of the tracks. And then we have Nikki Glaspie, who is Beyonce's old drummer, on 3 of the tracks, which is just really funny to say out loud. And then our new drummer, Craig, is on the do the math, next 3. So it's pretty cool. This album I'm really proud of, and I don't say that lightly. So I'm stoked, phenomenal.
Awesome, stoked, phenomenal.
Awesome.
The words are gonna come right across the screen. It's gonna be so beautiful. But I'm gonna roll back the tape a tiny bit. Beyonce's drummer? Did I hear that right?
Beyonce's old touring drummer. She toured with Beyonce for like 7 years. She's a friend. We didn't like call up Beyonce and be like,
yeah.
But she's a friend, and since we had our drummer some issues with him and he ended up leaving, I always wanted to get to do something with her because she's hilarious and just a really fucking cool person. But you don't want to like betray your band. But since we had this little window of time and some songs, and it was COVID, so there's no studio to like go to. There wasn't at that time. We just called her. She said yes, and I can't. I'm pretty excited, stoked.
That's phenomenal.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh, so that's totally random, and that's one of the things that I love just about all the musicians that I speak with, because I can't ever wrap my finger around any of the people I talk to, because everybody's full of surprises, especially like that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome, stoked, phenomenal. But as I sit here and run that joke right into the ground,
All day.
lose my composure a little bit. That Beyonce news really threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. That's just really neat.
I've gotten to say that to anyone. Actually, that's the first time I've ever got to like tell anybody that. So
Just working on the new album. Got Nikki. You might know her from ever seeing Beyonce live. That's awesome. Did she ever give you any juicy Beyonce tidbits that you can tell us?
I feel like no, not anything crazy, but she's just a funny, cool person. I mean, I don't like know her super well. She's a friend, but no, I don't know any juicy Beyonce details. Zero.
I just didn't know if we might be able to get like the inside scoop here on the mixtape, some juicy Beyonce details. You can't blame a guy for trying.
I know. I wish I had. I wish I do. Maybe I do, and it's just in my subconscious somewhere.
It'll come up organically. Who knows? But definitely really excited to be hearing the news about the new album coming out in the fall. So that's good. So obviously that kind of takes away one of my questions for me. What have you been doing to stay occupied during all this shit as the fucking world's ending? Yeah. But obviously been writing an album, which is good.
It is good. Thank God we have that to work on, because this is fucking crazy.
It is, and with everything that's happening politically and socially right now, like everybody needs their outlet to be able to like focus that energy, let it be positivity from the victories that are happening, or just the negativity that we're just forced to fucking deal with every single day right now. And it's good to have it go someplace, because before I started doing this, I found myself fucking stress eating like fucking crazy.
And everybody else in the world as well.
Yeah. Like no joke, like the first like 2 weeks at home, I think I went through like 6 jars of peanut butter, because that's like my guilty food. I'll just fucking sit and eat it by the spoonful. And like between that and just like all the vodka, the match. So it's a pretty healthy diet of vodka and peanut butter.
Yeah. Could be worse.
It could be absolutely worse. I'm sure I've had worse things to eat in my days. And speaking of the worst, why did you land on that name? Because it's like, the worst band. And it definitely makes it hard to find you sometimes.
Yeah. Honestly, it wasn't really my idea or choice at the time. I was kind of a train wreck, and I think the guys just thought it would be funny, which it's it can be. It's not. I mean, I don't love the name, but it is the only name I've ever like put out my own music, and so it is what it is.
I don't know. I dig it. Like, yeah, it's hard to find, but like, who have you heard before? I mean, there's plenty of like band names that are often self-degrading and stuff, but just as we're the worst.
Yeah.
How would you describe your band? We're the worst. And honestly, I'm a little envious of it, because it's a fucking great name. Like it sticks. It's got legs to me. Because I like those types of names. And it's not once you hear it, it's not one that you'd likely forget either.
That's true. You're right.
So it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective.
Yeah, now I feel great about it. I love the name.
See, look at that. Look at that.
So much.
Well, I'm glad I could offer a new perspective, shine some light on the day. So you said you've been touring for pretty much your entire adult life.
Yeah.
What's one of the oddest things you've ever seen on the road that just like It's one of those things that like the end of the day and you're laying in bed, you're like, man, that was fucking crazy.
Oh,
Anything
man.
like that ever
Yeah,
run through your mind?
things like that. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I mean,
The good ones, obviously.
the good ones. Uh, I mean, I feel like every time we're in Oregon, weird shit happens. Like not in like Portland, Oregon, and like you have to play those big West Coast cities, but then you also have to play like Eugene and Bend, Oregon, just to like get to the next gig. I guess you don't have to. We always do. And one time we were in Eugene, and we had played like San Francisco a couple, maybe the day before, and I really wanted this. We went to the aquarium, the Bay Area aquarium, and I really wanted this stuffed otter. I'm not sure why. I mean, I used to do a lot of drugs, so I feel like I just really wanted this otter, and I
But do you
talked about it a lot.
do you still like otters? Because
Yeah.
I spiritually connect with the otters. They know what's up.
I mean, that's probably why, but I do still like otters. That wasn't the drugs. I think my obsession with the stuffed animal may have been, but I can't be sure. But so we get to that happened. I was annoying about it. We get to Eugene, and it's like a really weird show. It's like across from a skate park. There's a guy dressed up like Santa Claus. It's just like a weird vibe. And some guy keeps buying me PBRs. There was like $1 PBR night, that kind of thing. And some guy keeps buying them, and I drank liquor, so I wasn't drinking them. So they were like lined up at one of these side tables, like, you know, probably like 15 of them. And at the end of the night, Will, the bass player, was like, I'm just gonna like drink one of these beers that Brooke's not drinking. And it ends up having something like 2CB or 2CR, one of those like designer drugs in it. And meanwhile, like I decided to go back to the hotel, and I told them, I think I'm just gonna go walk back to the hotel. It was like walking distance, and they like finished packing or whatever, which makes me sound like a total douchebag, I understand. But these were different times. And so they finish up, and then they can't find me, and they're like freaking out. They think I've like gone to do something. And meanwhile, the 2CB, 2CI, whatever chemical kicks in, and Will's just like walking around going through the Jack in the Box parking lot. He doesn't even realize what happened until like the next morning. It was just this really dark night of Oregon shit. And then I feel like every time we're in Oregon, something else happened. Our old drummer threw pizza at the van and then peed on it. There was like that whole ordeal. It was just like, Oregon's not good. Portland is great, but the rest of Oregon is always just like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Fucking logging towns.
I know. That's not what I thought it would be like for some reason, those towns. I always thought like the University of Oregon is in Eugene. And so I was just picturing something different than whatever that was.
Wow. See, I've never been out that way, and I'm always curious, you know, to hear about, you know, different parts of the country or even the world, and like some of the things that are going on there. So you're definitely, Oregon's just brought nothing but fucking mayhem for the worst.
Except for Portland. Yeah, I feel bad saying that.
It's because it's bizarro fucking Portland. That's what it is. It's the opposite of us.
I know.
It's bizarro. That's what it is. It's a fucking parallel universe. It's bizarro Portland. That's why it's up. Although you said Portland's good, but we'll just for
yeah, you can lump it all together. I don't really know those people.
Fuck it. Sorry, Oregon. Prove me wrong. Just kidding.
No, it's okay.
And you can tell Oregon to fuck off. I mean, I'll tell Oregon to fuck off too. But I love you, but you can fuck off. But I love you.
I'll just say that you edited it weird. And that's how I really said it.
Oh, I never said that. It was all in editing.
Yeah.
Blame Punky. He did that shit.
That is what I'll say. When they ask me.
That's fine. It won't be the first time I've been thrown under the bus. It won't be the last time.
Okay.
I can handle it.
There's a lot more weird shit that's happened that's just like not coming to me. I mean, I know there is. Weird shit happens on tour. That's what makes it fun. That's why you got to trust your bandmates. Also, you're on stage with them. That's one thing. But, you know, you're like living in a van and like really, you're like living with these people in the small space. And so there's always crazy things that you see that just seem normal to you at the time. You're at a truck stop and you're like, oh.
Oh, no. Oh, Me and late night truck stops on tours. I lots of approaching situations that I'm just not into.
Yeah.
Not like not I don't know. Hooking up with some stranger like a Malott lizard in like the middle of Pennsylvania does not seem like a fucking fun idea to me.
No.
No, because that's the thing. It's like when you're on tour, sometimes you have to go to the bathroom at the worst fucking hours, and that's my problem when I'm on the road. I'm like, yeah, sorry, I know it's like 3:15 in the morning, but I gotta go. All right,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. Maybe it's the voice, maybe it's the beard, but I've had way too many times of a foot under the stall tap mine. And I'm like, it's fucking creepy. Might as well be Oregon.
Yeah, maybe. Might as well. I mean, that's what people don't super realize is that to get to all those places that have names you recognize, you have to go through so many weird places, stop and pee. Cheap hotel rooms are in the places you've never heard of.
It's true. But you know what? If it wasn't for all those cracks, those imperfections between those bigger, more ideal moments, I don't think the road would be half as interesting if it was always good, you know?
Absolutely. It really has like shaped me. And I think our first West Coast tour, I think I was 33 or something, and it was like the best week of my life. And and I've had a crazy life, so for the best week of my life to like be happening, it just seems like, so fortunate to just be, out there with your buds playing punk rock, which sounds pretty fun to me, especially right now.
It sounds like the best thing in the world. I miss it. I've been out of a band for a hot minute, trying to get something together, but it's hard. I miss it. I love making electronic music. I love producing and all of that. It's been amazing, and all the people that have been in my life. But I've got to like interact with so many old different bandmates that are doing different things, and other musicians that I've played with over the years with the show, and it's definitely it's like rekindled the fire really bad, and I'm like just dying to hear just the ring of like guitar feedback in my ears so bad. And I can hear, but it's not the same as playing with a band.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, you can do it all. Do both.
I'm definitely planning on it. That's for sure. There's definitely not going to stop me from that. Finishing it, that's another story. Oh man. But, we gotta make do. We gotta make do the best we can. But like I was saying, the moments on the road, those little imperfections, that definitely adds character to the story. And that's not that I don't miss being approached in any restroom. That's just not my fucking thing at all. Not where I want to have a conversation. But I miss the fun parts of it. I miss the, come over here after the show and come hang out, and it ends up being like the greatest time with the greatest people that you'll ever met. And you might never see them again, but you still stay connected here and there. And then it's nice. I miss those little, those road families that you could get to connect with.
Yeah, it really is nice. And I know we'll get back there. This is like, I'm like dying to go on tour. Although really I'm always ready to go. So I didn't really need a pandemic to like remind me how much I love touring. So I'm all set and ready. But it has been good because I'm like one of these people. It's not that I don't enjoy songwriting, but like I'm not sitting there like, this is so fucking great. I'm writing the song so that it can go on an album, so that I'll have a chance to play it live. And like when I think it's acceptable, then I'm like, cool, that's good. Let's go print it. And this album, I know the world is coming, it's doing a lot of crazy shit, but I just had a really crazy personal like year for this whole album. And so this is the first time I've been able to think about it as like, I've had all this time to write and rewrite and record and overdub and actually make it a production. And like our new drummer is like a musician that thinks in terms of like the song instead of the part. And so it's just been really cool. I'm an impatient person, to say the least. And so to have this time to like pick at it and make it, I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but just to make it this piece that really represents the crazy year I've had, or 2 years or 15 years or whatever. I would have never done that on my own. So it's been cool, because this album's I'm really happy about it. Can't wait.
I'm definitely excited to check it out. So it sounds like it's really giving you a chance to get a little retrospective on everything and kind of just gain a little bit of composure back.
Yeah, for sure.
Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, when you spend so much time on the road, you're just constantly moving, running, swimming, whatever you want to call it, whatever adjective, floats your boat, being phenomenal. Eventually, at first it pained me to stop and sit still for a little bit. But I think everything that I got in like retrospect and hindsight from there and gave me a really good opportunity to look at everything that I was doing artistically. I don't think I'll ever have another. I don't know if I even want another opportunity like this again. Like it's been. I've used it to the best of my advantage as far as the downtime goes, but I don't think I ever want to have this much downtime again in my life.
No, I mean, maybe I feel like the takeaway artistically and for me personally is just that taking the time and like taking some space and to sit and like a timeout can be part of the process. A forced one is whatever. I have a lot of musician friends that instead of, oh, I have all the time in the world, I don't have to work, I'm stuck in my house, it just didn't do any, like it created, and it didn't do that for me either. I just like sort of was forced to, and here and there, like the album was halfway done. It wasn't just this like quarantine project that like, but there was times where having that space and time, even time to like track, send it to the studio, take it back, add just little things that I would never have done before. Definitely just a learning of, how to change up the process. But no, forced quarantine for 5 months with no end in sight, not really. I don't want it.
No, not at all. But at least able to gain something at the end of it, which is huge, and like not, don't. And a lot of people right now, they're definitely feeling the crunch of it all, and they're definitely like equating personal value with like actually like exporting a product. But honestly, I mean, you don't physically need to come out at the end of this. If you even just come out of this with a brand new perspective, you don't have to be an artist to do, a retrospective and a deep look at yourself, you don't have to create some massive fucking piece de resistance that's going to shape your entire career. If anything, that this time has shown me, it's to be comfortable with yourself, because I've really had so much time to familiarize myself with myself and get comfortable in my own skin again and inside my own head. And I definitely can see some people out in the fucking world that are just losing their fucking shit because they're not comfortable in their own skin, just fucking sitting there. And they're definitely, the isolation, I think, is definitely adding to people's like cannon fodder right now. I think it's just it's a fucking shitstorm. Where you could definitely use that time to kind of maybe compartmentalize some things in your life as compared to throwing fuel on the fire like other fucking people are doing in the world.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are really not doing great just for one reason or another. And so hopefully everyone hangs on and takes it easy on themselves.
Yeah.
And, just get through it. Compassion is clutch right now.
It is. Compassion, acts of kindness are the most important thing, and something that I've been trying to urge like all my listeners here on the show, like just go out, if you can go out, go do something kind for somebody you love, or perhaps a stranger, just something random, without cause, or just go and do, try to give back in any way, shape, or form. If you can't leave the house right now, then try to find some other way, to be a supportive, to be an ally in any way, shape, or form. It's a single act of kindness has an intrinsic effect, you know, and you're right. You know, being compassionate, I think, is the biggest thing we can do right now.
You know, doing something for someone else, anyone else, is the best distraction from yourself, I've found. So couldn't agree more.
I think we might have.
Get a puppy. Get a puppy.
Oh, absolutely. I think it might have found the formula for some of these people getting out of their own head a little bit. You know, you're feeling angry out there. You're feeling stirred up. You want to be an asshole and go be a fucking keyboard warrior and fucking be a racist piece of shit. Go do something nice for someone, you fucking asshole. Excuse me on my rant for a second, but you inspired me a little bit. No, I think I think it's what it is. You got these people that are just so self-serving, they don't realize that there's a massive community and world out there besides themselves. They're just too self-centered. You're right. I think a small act of kindness for another person might give them some perspective. I think it's honestly that simple.
I think it's definitely the answer, actually. It's pretty simple, but it could go a long way.
Really could. Honestly, giving me actually something to think about there. That kind of just made me think about maybe what some of these individuals are dealing with, you know, and you know, it's hard not to fucking want to smack every single racist Nazi fucking asshole across the fucking mouth right now. But hate breeds hate, unfortunately. You know, I know there's not reasoning with some individuals, and that's an entirely different conversation. But I think if a little bit of education, tiny bit of perspective, and a little bit of a charitable act of kindness could turn some people around, honestly.
Yeah, you would hope so. I know it's just wild. There's so much to say, but it's hard to know.
It is. You know, we with some of the artists on the show, we kind of get these little conversations about what's going on, and I think it's absolutely important. I mean, we kind of stumble
upon what's going on right now.
It is, but at least even in the darkest moments, there's still an opportunity to find beauty out there, you know, amongst all the fucking chaos. So it's nice to be able to gain a little bit of understanding, you know, and maybe seeing things from a new perspective, which I actually kind of just did, and maybe realized why some of these people are so fucking hateful in the world. But that's another thing. But positivity and distractions, those are two things that I do absolutely well. I surround myself with make-believe and false realities all the time in the land of fiction, as I tend to do. Speaking of some good old solid distractions, besides the music, what are you doing to occupy yourself with positivity these days?
Well, I have a job working with dogs, and so when this whole thing started, I guess March, maybe right before or right as it was happening, because I work with like hundreds of dogs, and I saw this puppy on the internet, and she kept popping up, not her, but her brothers and sisters, and finally, right before it happened, I was able to like get her, and so I just really fucking hang out with this dog and a million other dogs and like hike in the woods with them. That's my like day job, and so
my heart just melted right there.
Yeah.
How many dogs do you get to hang out with all day?
About 100 a day. It's great. It's like the thing keeping me sane. It's I mean, it's like this, in order to like, a lot of them are aggressive, and you sort of have to like handle that whole thing and kind of learn their habits. And it's sort of like that skill is a primal skill. A lot of times with music, especially being the singer, there's a lot of like posturing, or I try not to, but you never know. Like, am I making this face because this is how I feel, or am I just trying to look a certain way or whatever? But like, you can't fake it with these dogs, and you have to just like connect. Like, they're calm if you're calm, but if you're actually calm, not if you're like trying to look calm. And so it's just been like a really great, I guess, all over. So everyone watching this probably knows that I was it's been over a year. I had to go to rehab for about 5 months for drugs and alcohol. And so coming back, I got this job, and it's been like the best thing ever. It's instead of doing sound for bands, which is what I used to do, which is what me and I was totally out of a job now. I just decided to put all my music creativity into my own stuff and just deal with dogs, and it was the fucking smartest thing I ever did.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It truly is, especially when in recovery. The act of caring for something else and fully and having the responsibility of it, it's huge. And speaking from own personal experience here and from just friends in the similar boats, but that connection, that responsibility, that love, that bond, it's everything. And it gives, for me, my girl was all the reason for me to stay on the straight and narrow and have something to look forward to every single day. And that, that's awesome. I'm gonna try not to get my emotions get the best of me, because dogs are my soft spot.
Yeah.
And I lost my girl last year.
Man.
We had a good run. We was almost 13 years, so it was the best. It was the best of things. So that
is the best.
So when I hear other people and seeing like new bonds being made, like it's that hits the heartstrings for me. This actually might be the one that freaking gets me a little bit here, because I am a fucking softie with my heart on my sleeve. That's awesome, and I'm super proud of you. And you should know that. I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
Road.
Yeah.
I know. Dogs are really the best.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. I'm not going to shy away from that at all. And then, honestly, what the bond and the connection with it, that's huge. To make myself shut out of this a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I used to work in a kennel for a little while too, and it was like the greatest thing. The most dogs I ever had was 23. It's like the best day of my life. You have hundreds. Did you ever rename the dogs? Because I used to all the time, because there was so many shitty dog names. I'm like, you deserve a better name.
A lot of Baileys. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
A lot of Bellas. I mean, I feel like I give them nicknames. I'm very connected with them. I get to know them really well. So if I don't like their name, I'll definitely change it up. I mean, I don't hope there are no clients watching and then they'll be like, we don't want that girl around our dogs. But yeah, I mean, I hope Bailey's mom isn't watching this. But yeah, I don't. That's cool. You used to work too. It's a fun job, huh?
It really, really is. And it's different when you have that many dogs at once, because you're like, oh, I'm hanging out with dogs, and like, no, it's an entirely different thing when you get more than 5. I mean, pack mentality starts to actually come into play, and you can see it. You can actually see the animal instinct in them a little bit more.
Oh yeah, it's so crazy that's like what I think about 80% of the time is like how they're gonna react or like what's gonna set them off, because we don't shy away from like aggressive dogs. We just like handle them, and we also take them. It's not just like fenced in yard and we're like throwing a ball. We take them in a van and hike. I'll do like 2 walks off leash, like in trails, and we have to take them in a van to these trails, and so it's like a lot of renegade dog wrangling, but it's really cool just to like see, because I was a big dog person before, obviously, but just to like have to, like, your job is to like predict these dogs and how they interact is like fucking the greatest thing.
It really is. It really is. And it's wild because you see all their different personalities and you can see the little bonds between them. And then it's honestly, it's like its own little reality show when you're working at a kennel. It really is, And you're like, all right, I'm trying to think of some of the old dog names there. It's been a few years, but you get into these little relationships with them, and then all the dogs. What have you renamed some of them? I'm just curious about some of your nicknames for them.
Well, we have one, I guess they're like a southern family, and they have 3 big Swiss Mountain dogs named Bama, Dixie, and Daisy. And I call Bama Jammer because I'm from the South, and so like the Southern novelty means nothing to me. So Jammer, sometimes it's just the way you say their names, like baby, just how they walk. I don't know. It's just whatever. I don't know. I haven't named any bad. We have one pit bull. I forget her actual name, but we call her Shitty Pity. I actually don't know her actual name, and I'm so good with their names.
It's even better. Shitty Pity's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was her name before I worked there, so I can't take credit for that, but I feel bad now. But at least her parents can't be.
Probably Bailey.
I know. There's so many Baileys.
There really are. It's like, oh, what's your dog's name? It's like, Bailey. Cool.
Cool. No one's going to remember that.
Yeah, nobody's going to remember that at all.
I know.
Oh, man. There's another song right there.
I actually, since we just went off on a huge dog tangent, because that whole like job has been like really part of this whole journey, I feel like I should mention that the cover of our record when it comes out is like canine related. I changed it to, I didn't do it. The artist is doing like a two-headed wolf because I'm bipolar, so a lot of that's like been woven through all the tunes. And so it's like a manic wolf, like and then like a depressed wolf, but like two-headed. So, cause like this whole canine thing has been such a big part of everything. So see, we can it can fit back in.
Pull it in with the dual, because you got the duality of the duality, because you have the dog entendre and then a connection to the band. So it's got like 4 layers right there.
Yeah. It's
so,
all good together.
Anything dog related is definitely going to catch my attention. So, but it's good, especially with everything and going through the healing process and the recovery process, and having something that works for you. And honestly, pet work is what I've seen to be one of the most successful throughout it. So, definitely keep it up.
Doing good. 15 months, trucking along, so it's been good.
Fucking right. You should be proud. 15 months, that's awesome.
I am proud. Thank you.
Well, that's good. And, a lot of positive things to look forward to, and you've been staying busy. And I'm definitely really excited to check out the new album. Because obviously you've put a lot of, it sounds like you put a lot more of yourself into this than, you started it before, but with everything, it seems like there's going to be a little bit more personable.
It's super personal. So that's a new thing for me. But I guess the first one I guess I didn't really know what I was doing the first time. Those are great songs, I think. I'm very proud of a lot of those songs, but this is a whole album, I think, is as much as I could hope for. And Will has done a phenomenal job. Just his whole bass playing is our sound. Just the whole fat fuzz bass with like playing chords on the bass, and then just big drum sounds. And our new drummer Craig is awesome, and he's like a old road dog. So I can't wait to get on the road with him because he's fun and hilarious and always in a good mood. And you gotta have a drummer that's like always in a good mood.
Yes, they are very finicky creatures, drummers.
Yeah.
I'll say that much. I love you, drummers, but what the fuck?
Get it together.
They know what I'm talking about, too. They know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, personality, if you choose to just bang on shit, it must come with, like, some personality thing that must, I don't know, I'll look it up in Psychology Today, but I'm sure it's something.
Oh, there's definitely, oh, man. Sorry to all my old drummers out there. I love you, some of you. I'm just kidding. I didn't replace you with a computer. Oh, shit. Well, I'm definitely stoked to check out everything. It definitely sounds like it's been a pretty wild ride thus far, but it sounds like it's just the beginning, despite all the things that are against us right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm good. So blah blah blah. Get my tongue tied here. We've been all over the place. We've been ups and downs. We've been real. It tends to happen here on the mixtape every once in a while. We get to some very real places, but that's okay because there are things that need to be talked about, hands down. Mental health, recovery. They're subject matters that people don't want to have in normal conversation, but I think it's important.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't shy away from those things. We should embrace, help, educate, and support and build each other up.
I agree.
So that's why I'll venture down pretty much most roads of people here on the show that they're willing to talk about. And honestly, I truly appreciate you sharing part of your journey with me. That's I really appreciate that. I know it's not always an easy thing to talk about, but I know from my own experience, it's something that needs to be talked about.
It really is. And I wish I would have talked about it sooner, or just not felt so bad. Because it still sounds weird being like, rehab, bipolar, but it shouldn't feel weird. So,
as I say all the time, it's the cracks in us, what we might perceive as a negative that gives us character, and to that gives us beauty. I always try, I never look it up, but there's a Japanese art form of when pottery breaks and they fix the cracks with gold. So they personify it and they never hide it.
I've heard that before.
I think that gives beauty to the world, and that gives us character and shows us who we really are, not that presenting self, because we all are our own faults, we are the good and the bad. So,
for sure.
But Brooke, this has been awesome.
You're great.
I can't wait to be able to hang out again and, come down to a live show. I've heard nothing but accolades. Like I've had, once I had you on the show, like, a bunch of people, and they're like, or when I played the worst before previously, I had a bunch of people in the chat. They're like, "Oh, I played with them. They're amazing. They're amazing. Oh, I played with them at Gino's." I'm like, how the fuck did they slip past me? So the second that the world comes back to any semblance of normality, I'm gonna be right up front with my camera because I can't wait to meet you. I know, and I'm like always I freaking practically live at Flask,
Yeah. I used to do sound at Gino's for like 6 years.
For what years?
2016 to 2018. The end there was a little blurry, but so I guess that's 5 years, but I felt like it was 6.
I mean, I've definitely have run sound for one of my bands at some point. So we probably have crossed paths and just might not have known it.
You look mildly familiar. I was also, very long blackout of some sort. For those
I fell inside of a bottle of whiskey and didn't come out for several years. So there's a lot of that. That's just kind of this blur, but not as much. Most of it's there, but good to be able to cross paths now at this point, because obviously everybody's doing, positive things.
Sorry, my other dog's barking.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay, buddy. It's okay. No.
It's all good. Just saying hi to all the mixtapers. That's all.
Yeah.
But, it's good, that at least, cross points, at this point in life where, all this positivity going. So
sure.
I'm stoked to hear the album in the fall. We're absolutely going to be premiering on the show. I wouldn't have it any other way. So definitely.
So far, we have some finished stuff.
Well, if you want me to check it out non-show, feel free to email me anything because I would love to check it out. And then let me know when I can show it to everybody. But I love sneak peeks.
For sure.
Any parting words before we say goodbye?
No, I said way more than I thought I would, so I don't have any parting words.
I have that effect. I say it's going to be 20 to 40 minutes, and we end up talking for over an hour. So, but I really appreciate you and your time here. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight.
Yeah, you too, man. Can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, no, we'll get together soon when the world comes back to normal, and it'll be good. It'll be good. So, Mixtapers, we're going to check out a good chunk of the worst first album tonight. My guest tonight has been Brooke Binion, the guitarist from The Worst. Thank you so much.